Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar hosted by Talent Tracker on candidate experience, ideology and application. In the fast-moving strategic business environment, demand to onboard the best talent has become companies' top priority. And in this competitive environment, organizations are focusing on enhancing candidate experience and treating their candidate as their customers. This webinar will share insights on the ideology and application of candidate experience and how it affects companies' brand and role it plays in the recruitment process. We are live on TweetChat, so you can use the hashtag TalentTrackerWebinar. At the end of the webinar, we will be having a Q&A session. You all can type in your questions in the question box. With this, allow me to introduce our guest speaker, Namratha Nandish, Strategic and Leadership Hiring at Capgemini. Namratha has over 7 years of experience and has played various roles as a sourcer, recruiter, trainer, and HR. She started her career with iPlace USA, which is an RPO catering to the US market. And while on job, she had explored various functions in HR and was involved in strategic and leadership initiatives. She is now working with Capgemini with leadership and strategic team, and her primary role is to engage future prospects of Capgemini at a leadership level. She was one of the prominent speakers at the TaskCon 2015. She is a people person and is passionate about learning and coaching. Bike riding, trekking, and traveling, exploring new places thrills her. With this, allow me to I now invite Namrata to take us through this wonderful session.
Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, Namrata, you are audible.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Pradnya, for uh, the quick introduction, and thank you, Talent Track, for giving me this opportunity and a platform to speak. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone who is listening to me. Make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of coffee. It's going to be an hour-long webinar, and I promise you guys you will enjoy this 1 hour. And I sincerely hope we all learn something new and bring in fresh perspective in the way we recruit today. And if you have any questions, you can use your chat box, and I'll try and answer to all of you by the end of this webinar. So let's get started. Hello. So today we'll be covering 3 topics. The first one would be, we'll talk about the ideology behind candidate experience. Then we'll talk about the life cycle of the candidate experience. And then the third would be how we can strategize and build candidate experience in our recruitment efforts. I'm sure most of you either work for a product-based or service-based company, maybe any industry. So my question is that, does your business put a smile on customers' face? We live in an experience world, isn't it? We talk about experiences, we promote experience, we refer to good experiences. Let's say we had an amazing dinner last night. So the next day, how many of you would share your amazing dinner experience in office or with colleagues or probably with your friends or with your family? Highly likely we do share our experience, isn't it? Probably we might also share it online on sites like Zomato. So whether it's a good experience or bad experience, it's highly likely that we do share our experience. Understand it's a human tendency. The biggest part of customer service today is about customer happiness, that to provide good experience. Check out companies like Amazon and Apple. These guys are setting new standards as to what the customer experience should be like when you interact with them or use their services. Amazon has a great UI portal. People, I can't believe that people have bought a yacht from Amazon. Can you believe that? It's the only company who is planning to provide drone delivery service. Yes, there are some expenses incurred, but in turn, look at the ROI that's bringing in. I'm sure most of you have heard of housing.com. So how has housing differentiated their market base, especially after being the last entrant in the market after 99 acres and Magic Brick? Housing.com has sold $8 million worth of real estate in its first week. It has something called a slice view. It's all about the service that they provide. So whether it's a customer or a candidate who is out in the job market, good experience matters a lot. Is the same psychology behind. There are plenty of ways and avenues where candidates can share their experience, be it a startup or a gazelle or a multinational company. Whether the candidate gets qualified or not, whether the candidate is interested in the opportunity or not. Good and bad experiences directly affect our company's brand. It affects our recruitment efforts. Like I mentioned earlier, it's because of human tendency that we share our experience with our inner circle and on social media. So my question to all of you today, have we optimized or really thought through what kind of experience we are giving to the candidates with whom we interact? What do we know what is the impact of our recruitment efforts in our on our prospects? And do we really think that we should provide a good candidate experience? Customer experience or customer delight is all about playing with emotions when you interact with them as a company or as a product or as a service. It's the same thing with candidate. It's the same with candidate experience. It's all about how a candidate feels and remembers a journey of interactions. So at each interaction, emotions are evoked. It impacts the way candidate or customer feel about the brand, the company, the product or service, the people, the value being received, feel about himself or herself. So from start to the end of this journey of interactions, there are make or break situations. Make situations or make moments always boost your candidate experience. It adds more positive vibes. You're emotionally engaged with your candidate. So it's important to bring that happy experience for your candidate at every interaction that you have. In the other way, the break moments or break situations, they always trigger a destructive emotion that can ruin the entire experience that's been built during the journey. So keep your make moments consistent in your journey of interaction with your candidates. That's important. So great candidate experience is all about having developed good emotions throughout the journey of interaction with the company. It's just that simple. Interactions, after all, define you as a brand. So we now know whether it's a good interaction or bad. It's highly likely that candidates do share their experience. Let's take an example of Apple. It's one of the world's it's one amongst the top 10 best companies in the world to have great candidate experience and even the employee engagement. So if a company treats, just a thought, if a company treats its employees well, to whom they have to pay money, then their product or service will definitely be good. How? Because if employees are happy, they will definitely work towards their job. They're sincere, they're hardworking, they'll be loyal towards the company. So in turn, good product or service define how good the company is towards their own employees, towards the candidates they want to hire. Now, why does candidate experience after all matter? Candidate experience is extremely important for all types of job, for everybody, for every industry, for every function, whether it's a niche technical community, whether it's a senior leadership level role, whether it's a campus hire, whether it's a fresher, or even if it's for a startup company. Why? Because like us, there are 10 other similar companies in the market. Like us, other companies also want to hire the best talent, but the best talent are only few. This is very important for us to digest as a recruiter, as an HR, as a business leader. After all, if we want the best, we need to be the best. So a quick question to all of you. You can probably reply through your chat. Uh, you can see a lot of icons here. There are a lot of companies, Facebook, LinkedIn. So I want to know, what do you guys think about LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other company out there? Yeah, some say that they would want to join LinkedIn because their service is good. Yeah, you use the LinkedIn app. So what you guys are thinking is all about perception. Perception is everything. What you think about the company is all it is. So it's very important as a company that we give the right perception to our audience. Uh, so let's have a quick poll here. Let me explain. Let's think that we are all candidates and we have been for an interview. We got an email saying that it's a regret email saying that we do not really qualify for the job. Okay, so there are three options, uh, and I want you guys to think, you as a candidate, and select the option what you think you would be happy with. Pradnya, if you could help me with the poll. So let me explain you the poll. The first one is that I'm happy to receive this email and the content. So the email that you have received, you're happy with it, and even the information that's there in the email. The second is, I'm happy to receive this email, but not really satisfied with the content. Probably you would want more information or reason why you're not selected or areas where you could improve, anything. Third is that I don't like the mode of communication. I don't like the way you have emailed me and the content. Probably you were looking for a phone call. So choose your option, and let's see what we all think about.
So the poll gets closed in next 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Namrata, would you like to share the poll result?
Pradnya, are we done with the poll?
Oh yes, we have done with the poll.
Could you please share the poll results?
So, Namrata, can I help you with the poll? Hello?
Pradnya, your voice is breaking. Okay, let's not waste time. I'm actually not able to see the poll results, but I can take you through. Let's go to the next slide, and you will be able to understand what I tried to tell you guys. Pradnya, could you please share my screen? We can probably proceed ahead. Okay, I got the results. Pradnya just pinged me. It says that 50% of you guys think that you're happy with the email and you look forward for some more content. You're not really satisfied with the content. And 38% said, I'm happy with the email. Okay, so we'll talk about it in the upcoming slide. Now, considering the same example of regret email, from a company's perspective, what they think is that they have closed the loop with the candidate by sending them an email, conveying it to them that they're not selected, and they have efficiently managed the cost and time consumption. So in short, they think that they've done a good job. But the actual impact on the candidate is way different. Just think if you have given a rounds of interview in the company, you have taken a pain to probably taken holiday or go to the venue, probably you've spent money on the same. Don't you think you would expect a response from the company as to why they're not moving ahead with your candidature? Many of us, also want to know the reason to improve. So in India, most of us are only looking at cost cutting, but we forget about there's a much deeper impact. Let's say the company sent a better email with constructive feedback to the candidate. So from a company's perspective and candidate's perspective, candidate will be able to understand his or her areas of improvement as to where he could improve, and also because the company has taken care about the candidate's feelings, the, it's high chances that candidate would put this company in the dream company's bucket list. High chances that he would reapply, he would suggest it to somebody else, right? From a company's perspective, again, yeah, it's branding through word of mouth. That's what happens. And candidate might also refer a right prospect because now the candidate knows what is it the company is looking at. So our processes and strategies of recruitment should be an intersection of both companies and candidates' perspective. Only focusing on company's perspective will affect the company's brand image, and only focusing on candidates' perspective will affect time and cost to the company. Hence, we need to analyze our current processes to best suit both company and candidates' needs. Happiness quotient. So to increase the candidate experience, you need to invest your time, money, and energy. Research says that the emotion happiness has a direct relation with the three P's of the organization. That's productivity, profit, and prosperity. So happy candidates can make a happy company, and happy employees can make happy company. So what we need to look at is think from both company's perspective and candidate's perspective and keep increasing the happiness quotient. So that's about ideology. Moving to the next part of the webinar, that's candidate experience life cycle. This cycle has 6 categories: exploration, interview, feedback, offer, onboarding, and experience quotient. Experience quotient is nothing but experience survey on candidate experience. Now this is candidate experience life cycle, or in simple words, it's a recruitment life cycle which can be applied to any company. Let's just quickly go through how it is and what it is. The first part is the exploration, wherein the candidate apply on various job portals, apply on career page, or they might just walk in, apply to consultancies, or we ourselves as recruiters, HR, we ourselves would approach the candidate, right? So that's exploration. And then as a recruiter, as an HR, we shortlist the candidate, we screen the candidate's profile. If it's suitable, we then go for conducting technical rounds of interview or other interviews. Now over here, we might have other people coming into picture, like schedulers, like facilitators, like hiring managers, depending on how big or small is our organization. Once that is done, if the candidate is suitable, if there are any more interviews, you conduct those. If not, you directly go for negotiating the salary. So once that is done, we make an offer. If the candidate accepts the offer, the candidate would join, and then we take care of the onboarding. Now this is a typical recruitment process which happens in almost every company. Right? Now, if we divide these into 6 categories, that becomes exploration, interview, response, feedback, offer, onboarding, and experience survey. So the next few slides, what it will show you is that what are the important factors that we need to consider in each of these categories, some of the ideas how we could make candidate experience better in each of these categories, and some of the live examples what other companies are doing with respect to making candidate experience better. So first is the exploration. Avenues for exploration, yes, candidates can apply through career sites, job boards, they might just walk in, they could be referrals, or through consultancy or through word of mouth. And companies could also approach candidates, maybe a candidate who's actively looking for a job or a passive seeker. So there are different avenues where candidates can explore the job. What 3 things that we need to keep in mind, whether it's candidate approaching the job for the job or the companies approaching the candidates, we need to answer what's in it for me. You need to answer this question to every candidate, what's in it for me. They need to really understand what are the growth opportunities, what is their day-to-day work look like, how is it going to, what's there for them so that they think about joining us. Also, it's very important that we understand the candidate's intrinsic desire, you know, asking direct questions as to why they're looking for a change, would not answer this question. You might have to ask some indirect questions so that you can make the candidate break open and speak up and speak to us. And most importantly is to apply pull strategies instead of push strategy. Because top talent never switch jobs lightheartedly. They do their homework. So besides checking out company career page, they also look outside, like probably LinkedIn career page, Glassdoors, or other pages where they can get more information about the company. So let me now show you some examples of how companies are applying pull strategy in the job market to attract top talents. So here is an example of a company in US. Something interesting which I really liked about is, okay, we all post videos, we all post blogs, we talk about upcoming events. Just check out what type of videos that they have uploaded. They have uploaded something about their interns, fresh graduates or some interns, and they've uploaded related to their moms, like employees who are mothers, right? So if you see, they care their people. That's what they're trying to show. It's all the human touch that we need to have. The second part, wherein it says apply today, if you see above that, you can see all the benefits that the company gives. A nice strategic way of placing the benefits just before a button apply today, isn't it? Sometimes candidates don't want to apply for a job right away, and sometimes they want to see the right. They probably didn't see the right job. So it's very important that we need to give a way for them to stay in touch with us, stay connected for future opportunities. This is done very creatively by this company, Zappos. So what they've done is that they allow candidates to connect with their company, and through this become an insider community, and the candidates can get customized alerts as per what they need. So that's something interesting. It's also important that we choose the words carefully. Let it bring in a positive feeling. I know it's a very small thing, but small things collectively does bring in a good difference. So, for example, work for us. So instead of that, you can probably write it as work with us. So choosing our words carefully is something that we should look at. Also, a lot of companies engage their prospects through tweet chats, and also they provide videos on their company, about their employees. So that's a good way to actually engage and attract the right talent. Most important is to be transparent. The more transparent the company can be, it's always the better. So here's an example wherein this is a small company who has actually showed their interview process, very transparent, very informative for the prospects. So you can think based on your company needs, the candidates that you target. You can probably introduce your hiring managers or key employees or decision makers, maybe a blog, maybe a video. So showcase different teams, different departments, different functions. Make it more transparent. Make it more, candidates always want to know more information. So that's how understand your target and target audience, and then come up with different ideas. The next part is the interview. Interviews are very important part of candidate experience life cycle, because depending on the company's needs, interview process is formed. Some have a very simple process, some have various rounds of interview, some include technical round, and some include personality checks as well. So in the entire interview rounds or process, we need to make sure that we have engaged our prospects and evoked positive feelings. We need to understand our target workforce generation. So Gen Y, the entire population of Gen Y believes in virtual world. They do everything just in time. They form opinions out of their first impression about the organization. So appropriate mediums of communication and response time is very essential attributes that we should keep in mind while dealing with them. And people like Gen X guys, they expect more respect and a personal connection. So we have to take care of both high touch and high tech while dealing with these kind of generation. Okay. Always one important thing I believe in, one important question that we should ask every single time is that, is there anything you didn't get a chance to tell us which you think will help us hire you? Or is there anything you would want us to know? Ask this question to your candidate, because you give them a chance, give a chance to your prospect to speak his or her heart out. Let the prospect feel satisfied with the interview, no matter the candidate gets qualified or not. It's the feeling that you want the candidate to take away afterward. So here is an example of a high touch and high tech. See, what we have done, what I have done here is making use of technology in HR so that you give that personal touch to your prospects. You can just send a text message with probably a location, a company location, and let them know that you are excited to meet them and share your office location. You can also probably share them a message after they're done with the interview. Tell them that you will get back to them for the feedback. So these are simple things which gives you a high touch. And to make use of high touch, it's always good to use technology. So be on high tech so that it increases your efficiency in recruitment process. Coming to the next part of it, this is the responsive feedback, which is a very important aspect of the entire candidate experience life cycle. One of the biggest things I believe successful companies have in common is that they respond. I really want to repeat this. One of the biggest things successful companies have in common is that they respond. They provide feedback to their candidates. They communicate on time. So these things, responding and providing feedback is very, very crucial and very important. Communication throughout the process is important. We now have technology to make all these steps easy, isn't it? There's no reason not to do so. So it's very important that we treat others as if, how we want it to be treated. I think that's the golden rule, especially important if you want to ensure good candidate experience, because people want to deal with people after all. So make your hiring process as personal as you can. Setting expectations, that's again a part of communication process. It's very important that we don't leave the people hanging. Let them know what your process is. When can they expect to hear back? How quickly you are planning to make a decision. You will lose your candidate if they feel you are not authentic. If you, they if they are left unengaged. It's very important, and we should always remember the human tendency, because it's the human tendency that we share and express what we feel. Highly likely, we share our experiences with our friends, colleagues, and on social media. So providing feedback, you need to provide the feedback because it's the way you want to show that you value your candidates. So make your feedback sound personal and not really an auto response or a system generated mail. I really don't know how many companies as on today have automated their system to provide feedback. Like for example, we could do something like this. You can probably feed, or your hiring manager can feed in the feedback in the system, and the system can generate personalized email to the candidate with the feedback and the areas of improvement. Something like this in the graph. Let's say there are 5 most important skill set that you are looking at. So put that 5 important skill set, set an expectation out of it, see what the candidate is actually making, see what are the areas of improvement, and you can probably generate an email in the form of graph. Let the candidate understand it easily. That's about feedback. Coming to the offer part of the entire recruitment process, see, we know every company, every other company has joining bonus, has retention bonus, various other bonus. But what I really think is that we need to start think of different ways to provide both human touch as well as compelling offer. Like, for example, how about coming up with a component in the salary structure which is related to the candidate's passion or interest? Bringing that human touch is just like modifying your porks or benefits that you provide as per the results. Bringing that human touch is just slight modification in the way we think about offer. Send them on vacation. This must be a new buzzword in India, but it's already happening in many other countries. Vacation is sending a candidate on vacation before they start their new job. And if the new employees prefer not to take a vacation before arriving for their first job, they have a whole year to take advantage of this innovative benefits. So your employees will hit the ground running or running. They'll be more efficient at their work. So now these innovative components or policies has to be built considering who your target audience is. So that's most important. Uh, this is a small design or an idea as to how you can evaluate the happiness quotient in a person. What you can do is that you can design your perks or salary component basis what makes your employees happy. You can probably run a survey in your company with list of perks or benefits that you think are feasible for you to provide, and you can then look at the result. Here's an example. What I've done is that I've categorized employees as junior, mid-level, and senior. uh, if you see, employees need or want change as per their age. So you can now modify your perks or benefits that you provide as per the results. Whatever perks or incentives uh, given needs to be validated by the company whenever the employee has used it, and it can then be automated. Now if you see, for example, if you see junior, uh, meal vouchers are something that, this is a hypothetical example by the way. So if you see juniors, apart from all these, they would probably opt for meal vouchers because these guys are fresh graduates or hardly have 2-3 years of experience. They come from different backgrounds. So meal voucher. If you talk about seniors, they're settled in life, they have a family generally, so they might not want meal voucher. Probably they want insurance policy or some other maybe financial aid. So we need to understand what our target audience are, categorize them, and understand what they would want. So you can actually design your perk based on a small survey that you can conduct. Onboarding, in case of onboarding, it's very important to make the candidate feel that he or she is wanted in the organization. Uh, Let this day be one of the best days in candidate's life. High on energy, high on happiness will make the person motivated and will accept and work for good. So small little things can add smile and make him feel that his decision of joining the company was absolutely correct. So candidate will definitely put in more effort and energy to kickstart his career. Goodie bags, catch up with the team, a cup of coffee with the candidate, maybe the top management who has hired him. So probably a cup of coffee with him, make him feel comfortable. That's what is important. You can get rid of paperwork, use technology and get rid of paperwork. First day you come and then you just start doing paperwork. So just get rid of paperwork. And the last part of candidate experience life cycle is the experience survey. So I'll tell you, at LinkedIn, they've done the survey. What they've done is that they have tied the recruiters' objectives and key results to their candidate experience. So once they did that, they saw a lot of change in the way the recruitment process worked. They had 5% up in recruiters' satisfaction ratings. Coordinators and interview scheduling ratings went up by 13%. So it's always important that we take feedback from the candidate on the whole candidate experience and then tweak your process based on the finding. If you really want to improve your candidate experience, hold yourself and your fellow recruiters accountable. Add this to a recruiter's KPI. Here, it's just not to improve the candidate experience. You could also, as a team, work as a team and improve each other's work work experience. If you see, for example, Sam is really doing a great job in explaining the job role as compared to Kate and Nick. Communication skill set. Once that is done, identify the most important make or break moments that need to be addressed. The third is to then come up with creative ideas based on the analysis as well as identifying the make or break moments. Once you have the idea, check for feasibility. Is that idea feasible? Does that fall under company's budget? So check for feasibility and then implement on a smaller scale. Take the feedback, measure it, and then you can always implement company-wide or on bits and pieces. Now what I'll do is I'll give you examples of all these pieces so that we get a better picture of how we can build the candidate experience strategy. Candidate pool analysis. Two things very important to analyze is the career stages the prospects are. Somebody who has 3 years of experience would have different aspirations as compared to somebody who has 23 years of experience, different motivational needs. So the motivational needs change as per the career stage of an individual. The second part is to understand candidates by generation. You need to tailor your candidate experience as per the target audience. Look at your company, look at what type of services they provide, and then look at what type of candidates you need to hire. Are they Gen X, Gen Y, or Gen Z? Gen Z, they're still doing their graduation, so there's still some time, probably 2-3 years, and then we'll have a different altogether set of generation Gen Z that we will need to target. So most important is to understand the generic behavioral aspects of these candidates. How do they generally behave? What do they like? What do they dislike? So that is what we need to understand in our target audience. One of the best way for candidate pool analysis is to analyze our own employees' actions and behavior. Based on the result, we will be in a better position to focus on improving the candidate experience. If we understand where our own employees look for a job, if we understand where what kind of feedback they would want, is the same thing outside, because ultimately we want to hire somebody similar to what we have today or somebody who is better, right? So it's always good to do the analysis in your own company. So you can come up with questions like the questions it's been there. These are sample questions that I've included. You can probably ask your own employees, where do you look for a job? Rate the usage of below online ways of exploring jobs, right? So if let's say you did this survey in your company and this is the hypothetical result. If you see maximum usage, maximum use of online ways is career page about 75%, about 85% use apply through job postings on LinkedIn, and again about 90% close to apply for job postings on job boards. So this is where you will find your target audience as well. Okay. Second example, ask your employees, while applying for applying for a company, were you aware of the following information and was this useful? Information about company values. Was this available? Was this information being provided? And was this useful? Similarly, culture. Similarly, company's brand. So there are three options: aware and useful. Yes, I was aware about the company's value and it was useful to me. Aware and not useful. Yes, I was aware about the financial information, but it was not really useful to me. Not aware. No, there was nothing about company's brand value mentioned anywhere in the internet. There was nothing about culture which is mentioned anywhere in the internet. So if you see this, this is a sample question again. If you see this, most of them were aware and they used this point, 80% of them. That's company's brand value. Most of them were aware and used this point, that is company insights, company values. Okay. From here we understand what our target audience want from us. So based on this, probably company value should be made visible. Company's brand value should be made visible. Growth opportunity should be made visible. Based on what results you get, make those things visible to your target audience. Make it more transparent, maybe through videos, blogs, tweet chats. Similarly, the third example is about what is the way that the employee needs to get communication with respect to whether the candidate gets a job or not. So most of them agree to a point that they would want recruiters' email with the detailed reasons why they didn't get selected. So these were the sample analysis. Similarly, you can come up with many questions based on different phases of candidate life cycle. If you see, this particular question falls under exploration phase. The second question again falls under exploration phase of candidate life cycle. Third question falls under feedback or response phase. So you can come up with questions from phase to phase and understand and analyze what is it that the candidate is looking for. Now, based on that, understand your make or break moments. That too, identify most important make or break moment. How do we do that? So in this particular slide, if you see, there are so many avenues, but which is the avenue most likely that the candidate use? The first three. So these three are the most important make or break moments or situations. Similarly, which is the most important avenue here? Company values, company insights, company's brand value. So go to your most important make or break moments. 70% of our employees visit our career page. So that's the most important make or break moment. So answer questions to what, how, and why. How attractive is our career site? Is it easy and user friendly? How much time does it take to apply for a job? Similarly, job postings. 80% of our companies apply for job postings. So are we writing compelling job postings, job descriptions? What is the conversion rate of people viewing to applying? Is it low or high? Why? So address these questions. So go step by step, pick up each part of candidate experience life cycle, come up with questionnaires, survey, based on the result, compare your current process. That's about make or break moments. Once that is done, for each make or break moment, come up with ideas. Come up with different ideas, creation as to how you can improve these make or break moments. Once that is done, you then have to check the feasibility of these ideas. In terms of cost effectiveness, time, impact, check the feasibility of all the ideas that you have generated based on the survey. Some factors that you really have to consider is the company's budget, the recruitment budget. What is it that the company is ready to invest for the yearly recruitment? What is it? What is the company's? Are the company's policies flexible? Is there any flexibility in the policy? How big is the company? What type of candidates are we looking for? What is the job profile? What is the industry? What is the supply of candidates as compared to the demand of the job? What are the number of positions? So based on all these things, you need to check the feasibility of these ideas, whether you will be able to implement it or not. And then always implement on a smaller scale, measure those implementation, and then you can go live on a bigger scale. Agile is the best way to go about it. Most important, design the feedback and make it automated, and make to implement and have a successful execution. It's very important that you make somebody accountable for the work. So make your managers, your leaders, your leads, your executives accountable for the work. Include that in their KPIs. That's how you can actually execute things. So that's about how you can build the entire candidate experience strategy step by step. What I believe is that it's very important to set yourself apart in recruiting. Because see, I want everybody to feel a special experience with me, something different and better than what we normally feel. So selling your company's talent brand is required if you want top talent on your team. And the candidate experience is a part of that sales process. Make it high touch and customized, and you will be hiring the best of the best. I want to end by saying this is done by Talent Board research. 81% of candidates that had a negative experience would not reapply. On the flip side, 98% of candidates with a positive experience would definitely. So let's try and capture the 98% of those happy candidates. I hope this webinar, this presentation was useful to everybody in some small way. I would really appreciate if you connect with me and do share your experience. And if you have any questions, please do ask me. I'll try and answer to almost all the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Namrata. It had been a wonderful session. So now we begin with the Q&A session. So here we have one question. So it says that the pull strategy is something that has been in use for quite some time now. But what about the job descriptions that say that please don't apply if you feel you are not that creative or etc. something like that. So what do you think? Does this strategy work fine for the company?
I didn't really, it wasn't clear to me, Pradnya. If you could repeat the question.
Yeah. So it says that the pull strategy is something which is there for quite some time now. But there are some
Okay.
job descriptions which specify that please don't apply if you feel you are not that creative. So what do you think? Does this strategy work fine if it's a company centric?
All right. I feel the job description wherein it's mentioned, please do not apply. I think that the entire sentence itself is very negative. It in fact it evokes negative feelings. Like I mentioned, every interaction evoke emotions. If you see here, it's a negative emotion that gets evoked. So I would suggest we shouldn't have such kind of sentence which evokes negative emotions. Secondly, yes, I do agree that we have to make our job postings more compelling, the way we describe our job, so that even a layman can understand. To be honest, very few people in India have a good vocab. Otherwise, people understand simple English. So we should also keep our job descriptions simple. Again, this depends from target audience. If you're hiring at a leadership level, definitely they would understand if you're articulating and writing the description. But if you're hiring at a fresher level, graduate level, make it more simple so that people can understand and decide whether they should apply or not. I hope this helps.
Right, thanks, Namrata. So we have another question here. It says that when we receive too many profiles for one position, to give
Mm-hmm.
feedback to all is not feasible. So what is your comment on that?
Yeah, I completely agree on that. Even I face this challenge a lot, wherein we post jobs, and at least in India, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, if they see a job posting, they start applying. Hardly we get the uh, the right guy out from a job posting. I completely agree to that. Yes, of course, it is not possible for us to give feedback for every individual who has applied through a job posting or a career page. But what I would emphasize at this point in time, till India develops and the thinking changes in people, at least whomever we have contacted, we have initiated a contact, we should make sure that we close the loop by giving them the feedback as to what is happening with their candidature. That's very important, because we speak to 10 people and we might somewhere forget, or we might probably are busy that we are not able to connect with them. So somewhere we need to either make use of technology or time management, and somewhere we need to make sure if we have spoken to somebody on our own, or if somebody has spoken to us over a phone, it's very important that we close the loop.
Thanks, Namrata. So, Namrata, I think we are now running out of time and we will have to close the session now. And as I said, like people are writing in their questions, and I'll be sharing the questions with you so that you can connect with the audience directly.
Definitely, Pradnya. I would love to read all the questions and would really like to interact with all of you and probably discuss our things. You can always connect me on LinkedIn. That's the best way we can quickly get in touch. Or you can write me a personal email, And also do let me know if you implement any of these ideas or points that we discussed, and if it helped in any way. I would really love to interact with all of you.
Thanks, Namrata, for being here today. And I hope we have more such sessions with you in the future.
Thank you, Pradnya,
Thank you.
and thank you all the audience for having patience and listening to me. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.